the bird's eye view drawing, this kind of gives you the ability to really show like the plan of the city, you know, like if you're up in a helicopter, Chopper 9, reporting on traffic, I don't know. You don't really want your horizon line down here in the middle or the bottom. You want to go up, really up, maybe almost to the top. I'm going to leave a little bit of sky showing. So this is my new horizon line, way up here, way up there. And I can put my vanishing point kind of anywhere. Let's put it almost in the middle. There's my new vanishing point. And I'm going to make a couple of road systems here. I'm going to put a road that's going towards us, but a little to our left. And notice the difference between this road and the road in the last one. Look at this triangle. Look how long and skinny it is. Compare that to the triangle that was here. Look how broad the bottom of it is. Even the sidewalk, which is a skinny thing, is fatter than this because of the angle that we're viewing this from. We are on the ground here. We are right there standing on the sidewalk. So the base of this triangle is relatively wide, whereas the base of this triangle, and this could be like a 4-lane highway, I don't know, it's relatively narrow and then very long. Or tall, I suppose you could say it's tall. Let's say in this city there's a main highway, and then there's like another pretty important road that runs over here. This is kind of like where I grew up. There weren't very many mountains, so the roads were very much like a grid. You kind of knew you were either going east to west or north to south, because the roads did not curve around. They were like a checkerboard. There might even be a road way over here off to the side. Now, if there's a road off to the side, it's not going to be as wide because you're looking at it from an angle. So this triangle, if you even call it that, it's a lot skinnier because of the angle we're looking at it from. Okay? There could be another one over here, but we're saying these are 3 main roads. Now, let's make some buildings. I think we're in a city with some big skyscrapers. So let's make a big skyscraper, maybe one that is so tall it is close to our eye level. Let's pretend we got one close to our eye level. So I'm going to put the bottom of it over here in this area. Now, I don't want the bottom of the building on the road. I want it next to the road. I'm just going to make the bottom of the building right there. Da-da-da. I am going to put my rule. I definitely want to use my ruler for this, okay? But my ruler has to be straight up and down. It has to be vertical. And I'm going to make a wall going up this way. Let's make it, you know what? Let's make it just a little bit shorter than eye level. So I'm stopping about there. Since I can see through my ruler, that helps me because as I draw this line, I can see, oh, I should stop right about there. Yep, that's pretty close. And I'm going to connect it, making sure that I don't do it crooked like that, but that this line is directly straight across. Like that. I can always clean these lines up. Also, I can't see through this building. It probably has glass in it, but it's not totally glass. And even a glass building has like structural things where you're not going to see the road through it. Okay, so that's the side of the building that's facing me. Now, we have to draw the side of the building that's facing this road. Just imagine like we were drawing those boxes in that exercise. I'm going to connect this corner, and this corner to our vanishing point. I don't need to connect that corner because this is not like an open side of a box because it's a building. Okay, so I don't have to connect that one. Let's see, I'm going to connect this one right here, my vanishing point. Now, you can make your line go all the way back to the dot, but if you know this building's not going to be that long, sometimes I just fade the line out and I don't actually make the line connect. I just know it would connect, right? Because it is important that that line would connect. Let's do the same thing here. I'm going to make a line and I'm just going to fade it out. And even over here, we can see the top of this building just a teeny tiny bit. It's going to have a really, really skinny shape for the top of the building because it's almost at eye level. Now I get to decide how far back this building's wall goes. Is this a building that's like really long and maybe its wall is way over here? Or is it more tall and skinny and short, like this wall's not very wide? I think I'm gonna go back a little bit. Again, don't make this line, the danger is a lot of people make this line slanty. For some reason, that's what everybody does. We don't want it slanty. We want it to be directly vertical. So if it helps you, start at the edge of the paper, line up your ruler with the edge of the paper, and then move it over like that so that you're trying to keep it pretty consistent. Let's put it right there. So I connect that bottom guideline with this guideline. Now I have a new corner right there. You don't have to put a dot. For me, that makes it a little bit easier. Now the thing is, connecting this dot to this other little back wall, or the back of the roof of it really, that line needs to be horizontal. the danger here is making the line like this, or even like this, or like this, when that line needs to be as flat as the horizon. So start at the horizon, move down, move down, move down, boom, until that little dot is lined up with it. And then you just go straight over, and you stop when you get to that other line. Do you see how skinny that shape on top of the building is? It is, for some reason, it's really hard to draw. This is like a super, super skinny parallelogram. Or maybe, is that a rhombus? If it's square? It's like the skinniest rhombus ever. I don't know. Somebody who knows geometry really well, you can tell me sometime. So I'm going to erase these other lines. There's that road behind my building that we can't see. Sometimes these really tall buildings, they've got like these antenna thingies on top. So like I remember growing up near Chicago, we had the Sears Tower, which I think has a different name now. And it had, I feel like it had something on top. Maybe that was the John Hancock Center. I don't remember. But it had these two little like antenna thingies on them. And so I'm going to draw some antenna on there. I don't know why it needs to have two, but I just remember seeing that it had two. Now, if you want to, you could draw windows on this. And just like in our other cityscape, the windows that are on the wall facing you are square. They have right angles. And by square, I mean they're squared away. They could be rectangles, but they have right angles in their corners. But the windows on the wall facing the road, it's going off in the distance, those are the ones where the top and bottom of the window will be slanted. So you would have that same thing happening here. This wall is facing me. All the windows would have right angles. This wall is not facing me. And you can tell, since the bottom and top, that's not a right angle. It's slanted to go to the vanishing point. So that means the windows would also need to have bottoms and tops that slant away towards the vanishing point. You would just use the vanishing point as like a little pivot spot, and the windows would all have their lines like that. The windows near the top would not be that slanty. The windows at the bottom would be very slanty because of that angle. I'm not going to do the windows right now. Okay, let's say we've got a short building. Let's put a short building in here. So we're going to say this building, maybe it is right across the street from this building. It has the same bottom leveled, right? So it's almost the same here. Let's put it right here. It's kind of a wide building. And let's say it's only up to here. Still a pretty big building, just not as big as the other one. And I'm doing the best I can. I think I made those about the right length as each other. And these walls need to be, again, we want the part of the wall that's facing us needs to have some right angles. So don't have your ruler slanted. I think that's about right. We got a nice little side of the building facing us. Boom. Now we're going to actually see the roof of this building, or the top of this building, and it's going to be going towards the vanishing point. We're really just connecting these two corners to the vanishing point, because these corners down here, they would be blocked. Like the line going to the vanishing point is blocked from our view. So I'm going to put this here, draw a line. Again, I can kind of fade that line out because this building does not go on forever. I'm just giving myself enough of that line to make my building come together. Like that. Now I just decide how far back this way does the building go. Is it really shallow, or does it go back quite a ways, and I can draw my line? Although, what if we have some other kind of shape? We have some buildings like this in Charlotte. Let's say that this building on the top has an area where there's like a little window sunroof looking thing. There, I'm gonna make a little half circle sort of a shape. So let's pretend that this building does not have a super flat top. What do we do now? So this looks like I think when I first moved here, this was called the Wachovia building, and now it's called the Wells Fargo building. I don't remember, but it has this sort of a window thing going like this. You probably have seen it uptown. So it's not the same, because the one uptown is way, way taller than this, but let's say it's got like these pretty windows up here, then it's like a half circle. How do I do that? Well, what I've done here is I've created two more corners. I've created a corner here and a corner here. So I'm going to attach them to the vanishing point, or at least draw a line towards the vanishing point. I'm not going to totally attach it. So let's make a line. It's lined up with the vanishing point, and this new corner, boom. I'm making it vanish, all right, because it really doesn't go that far back. And then now I'm going to do this one to the vanishing point like that. Okay, so now the tricky thing is the top. The top of this building is going to be tricky. First, I'm going to do the flat part. So because this is a horizontal line, the back of these sides needs to be horizontal. So I'm going to move my ruler up, 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 up until I think this is the back of the building. And I'm going to go from here. I'm going to stop and skip over that part and go here. See what I did? I can erase that little bit of a line. And now I have two new corners again. They're the corresponding corners to these little fellas right here. But instead of a line going straight across, I'm going to make a line that mimics this line. This sort of half circle rainbow shaped line. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect this line to this line, making sort of that same curve. And for some reason, it feels really like it's going to be hard to do. So I'm going to go lightly and then I'm going to darken it up. So, like that. Now I can erase these extra bits of line because I went a little further than I needed to. And you can see the top of this building with this little curve. Looks like it's going away from me. But I've created this, I don't know what this shape would be called. It's not really a crescent, but it looks like part of a cylinder going off in the distance. Okay, and if you had the rows of windows on the top, like that building does in Uptown Charlotte, you would have some lines like this going to the vanishing point, and I think my ruler slipped a little bit. And they would be slightly slanty, like it would be going towards that vanishing point, just like that. And then maybe there would be more curved lines going like this. Whoops. Like lots and lots of windows on the top of this building. Now that's not perfect, but I think you guys get the idea. Now, if this is like too complicated, then you don't have to do any buildings with this kind of top. You could just make the top like the top of a box, and it would be fine. But it's kind of cool to try this out. Let's say there's some doors down here. That's how you go in. Ooh, watch. Let's make a little sidewalk. And let's make a parking lot. And some parking spaces. And let's say this is the tow-away zone. That's for the handicapped people can park there. So they have room to open their special door. There. Now we got a parking lot, you guys. Anyway, that's just 2 buildings. If you look at my other example here, I did a few more. And did some of, like, here's another one with that kind of round top going back into the distance. Try this out, and as long as you're using a pencil, you can change stuff up. Here's one where I did a building where it had like a bigger base, and then the top of the building was a little smaller. Basically, this is just a box on top of a box. So it's not that hard to figure out if you want to try that. So a lot of buildings do that. They kind of start bigger and they get smaller as they go up. They might even have another level where it's like an even smaller box. So this is bird's eye view. This is normal view. Decide which way you want to go and give it a try.